In this video, I'll show you how to use a playlist to create an exercise that is too long to put in an individual preset. The process will be, we will create a playlist, we will create an item in that playlist, and then we will duplicate that item and modify for each new item in the playlist. We're going to use the polyrhythmic scale from quarter notes to eighth notes to triplets, 16ths, sextuplets, 30 seconds, and 12 notes per beat. I will then show you how you can change the sounds for all of those by using the copy and paste instead of doing it individually. So we'll begin by going to the playlist page. So I'll tap here and go to playlist, and I'll tap the plus button and create a new playlist, and we'll call it polyrhythmic scale. So this is now loaded, and we want to begin by adding a new item to this playlist. So we'll tap the plus button again and choose new entry in playlist. I'll call this quarter for quarter notes. And then I'm going to go back to the page, and we have quarter notes here. And just for the sake of example, I'm going to say that we will play this using single stroke roll between the hi-hat and the snare drum. And all we do for that is enter R and L, and you can see that this is going to repeat and play for the whole pattern. So we now have single strokes on the quarter notes. So we'll go back to the playlist, and we want to create one with eighth notes next. So I'll tap the plus button and choose duplicate entry with a new name, and we'll call it eighth. And then we'll go back. And this time I want to replace these quarter notes with eighth notes. So I'll find the eighth notes here, and I'll just delete these items. I'll choose to not clear the sounds and put in a bar of eighth notes, and you can see that that sticking of RL is retained. So now we have eighth notes. Save the changes. So we'll go back and repeat, and this time I'll tap the plus button, duplicate with new name, and we'll call it triplets. So again, we'll go in here, edit the pattern. I can tap and hold the del button to clear the whole row, and I will keep the sounds. And this time we want triplets, so a bar of triplets. Done. Save the changes. So you just repeat this for each of the items. So 16ths. Again, edit the pattern, delete, keep the sounds, bar of 16ths, save the changes, duplicate with new name. So now you can have quintuplets, or you could jump to sextuplets. I'm going to do sextuplets. So we'll go edit, delete, and there we have 6 notes per beat. And then I'm going to do 8 and 12 just for the sake of example. So duplicate with new name, 30 seconds. I don't know what I'm going to call 12. Edit, delete the whole row, but keep the sounds. So this is 8 at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. Save the changes, and finally 12 notes per beat. So let's just call this 12s. Edit the pattern, delete all, and this time there isn't a button for 12, so we click on the X and choose 12. So now we have our rhythmic scale, but all of these are set to loop, so this is going to play quarter notes forever. If we want just one of each of these, we need to set the repeats. So you can do that by either tapping on the gear, choosing repeats, which is default is set to 1. So you could do that for each of these items, but that's a bit time consuming. There are 2 quicker ways. You can tap on the pencil icon and select the items you want to change, and you could select all, but I'm just going to select these 2 by way of example. and then you can go to Actions, Set Reps, choose 1. So that's set the reps for these two. Or there's an even quicker way, which is to tap the very bottom row, which is Playlist Time, and choose Set All Reps to 1. So that sets all of these to play once. And you may also want to lock the tempo, because each of these have individual tempos. But if you wanted to change this to play at, say, 140, note that it's only changed this one. If you want them all to play at the same tempo, tap the padlock icon, and now they will all play at 140. Let's say, for example, that you want to have this play between two practice pad sounds instead of a snare drum and a hi-hat. So we'll go to the quarter notes, and we will tap and choose Sound Picker, and I'll go to Pads, and for the right hand I'll choose Pad 1, and for the left hand I'll choose Pad 2. And let's also push up the 1 fader to give us a quarter note click. So this now sounds like this. But the next item has 8 notes with snare and hi-hat again, and no click here. So rather than doing this individually for all of the items in the playlist, which would take a while, you can select the one that you changed, and then tap on the preset name and choose Copy Preset. And this copies all of the settings of this preset into the PolyNome clipboard. Then go back to the playlist, tap on the pencil button and select all, tap on Actions, and choose Paste Attributes. This allows us to paste certain attributes from the copied preset into the presets that we selected. So metronome 1 is where we had the quarter note, so that's where we're copying from, and we are pasting into metronome 1 of all the selected items. And what we want to paste are the overlay sounds and volumes, so that's the 1 fader position and the sound assigned to it. We don't want to choose stickings because that's already set, but if you wanted to change this to a paradiddle, for example, you could have changed the paradiddle and you could paste that into them, and then you would have a paradiddle for every item. We do want to choose to paste the sound button sounds, because that's the pad sounds that we just selected. And I think that's everything. So when we paste, now all of our presets use the same pad sounds and have the quarter note click. So there you have it. That's how to create a playlist in PolyNome.